Okay, Megillat Esther. We're chapter 3, but look, one more element in chapter 2 of Megillat Esther. It's the famous story of how Esther is being brought to the... Esther is chosen as the queen, and he throws a big party, a big feast, Mishte Esther, but he doesn't know what origin is she from. And Esther Magedet Moladeta Vet Amma. That's an important statement. Obviously, it shows that there was no connection, no evident or visible connection between Mordechai and Esther. Otherwise, the king would have known that Esther is Jewish. So she was well assimilated, or was able to behave like a Persian or a local girl in a way that no one could tell what is her original ethnicity. It also shows us that Esther was a very, very quiet girl, shy, timid, unpretentious. We also see that "Uvagia Torah Esther bat Avihai lo biksha davar ki metasher yomar hegai saris hamelech shomer anashim." There is definitely an exaggeration in the Megillah in describing the preparation that the women would go through before they come to the king. They say it would take a whole year. The miket shneim asar chodesh. Shisha chodashim b'shemen amor, v'shisha chodashim b'besamim v'tamur kanashim. There were 6 months of anointing yourself with fragrant oil, myrrh oil, and another 6 months with different fragrance and cosmetics. And then when she comes to the king, she could ask for whatever she wants. But Esther didn't ask for anything. She lived normally, simply, and she told the one in charge, "Hey guy, whatever you think is necessary, this is what I wear. This is what I'll use." It shows her a simple behavior. Maybe that was her charm, that instead of trying to hide her personality with so much glitter and other things, she goes right through. But the other thing is that so she's obedient. She follows the words of Mordechai. Whatever he tells her, we don't know exactly how he communicates with her, but we know he is a judge. He has a seat in the at the court, B'Shar HaMelech, so he communicates with her. And it's important. We'll see everything here. It sets the stage for the next development of the Megillah, and as well as those last 3 verses of chapter 2, that Biktan Vateresh, 2 of the guardians or bodyguards of the king wanted to assassinate him, but Mordechai found out and he delivered the message to the king. The Midrash says, which is very probable, that they were speaking next to him in a language they thought he does not understand, but he did understand. But both of them were reported. Esther told the king that Mordechai told her. She didn't say that he was her relative, but he says, Mordechai told me, and it was reported. They were executed, and it was written down. As per the Persian policy, that everything is documented, it was written down. Following that, we find that the king of Ahasuerus promoted Haman, son of Hamedata Ha'agagi, the Agagite. He advanced him and seated him higher than any of his fellow officials. We don't know why. What was the reason for that? But what we do know is that whereas everyone else would bow down to Haman as he passed through, Mordechai did not. Mordechai lo yichra v'lo yishtahaveh. Now it says he will not bow down. It doesn't say he did not. Lo kara lo yichra, meaning this is as a principle. He would not do that. But not only he does not do that, it seems like he makes a point of showing it to Haman. He could have avoided him. He knows when his entourage comes there, he could pretend not to be there. He could do a symbolic gesture, but he insists on not doing that. Why does he not bow down to Haman? Traditionally, that's how we were taught, that Haman represents idolatry, avodah zarah, or that he was wearing some kind of idols on a chain, maybe like a big chain with a statue around his neck. I don't know, and that's why Mordechai did not bow down. But that doesn't work from a halachic point of view. According to halacha, bowing down to a person is not equal to idolatry, and even if Haman was wearing or some form of religious objects, since everybody knows that bowing down is to Haman, this is not considered idolatry. There was even a case of a chief rabbi before the state of Israel, what is called Haim Bashi in the Ottoman Empire, who was decorated with the Iron Cross by Queen Victoria, and he used to wear it in official occasions because he said this is a sign of honor. It's not a religious object. A cross.
Who was the rabbi?
I think it was Rabbi Haim Nahum. I'm not sure. One of the
Nahum Effendi.
Nahum Effendi, maybe.
If he was the chief rabbi of Egypt, he was.
No, not this one. I know of him, but it was the Haim Bashi in Israel. I'll have to look up the name.
The Iron Cross isn't like religious. It's not like
exactly. That's what he said.
Christian cross,
right. So, but this is an honorary thing. But in the same manner, if Haman wears something, but the reason you bow down to him is to honor him as a person, then it's not considered idolatry. But beyond that, why does Mordechai have to confront Haman and to make a point? And as they ask him, they ask Mordechai. And this also, when we read the Megillah, we do it dramatically. The servants ask Mordechai, like, how can you do that? To transgress or to disobey the king's commandment? He says, I am a Jew. Jews don't bow down. Right? So, even the Talmud, there's one opinion of the Gemara that says that what Mordechai did was inappropriate. Why do you need to confront Haman in such a manner? You know that you are not in control. You are subjugated to the Persian Empire. You don't need to make a fuss. Go somewhere else, or pretend that you bow down to him. But this way, you are deliberately provoking him and causing him to behave towards you with anti-Semitism. So, what was Mordechai thinking? So, there are different explanations. My interpretation, based on what we read in the Megillah in general, and also when you look at the history of anti-Semitism and of dictators, is the following. I think that Mordechai, being part of the royal court, understood very well the mentality of Haman. He knew that Haman was very ambitious. He was appointed as second in command by Hashverosh because probably he was pushing that, for a while. And he pride on Hashverosh's need to have someone who runs the country for him, as we mentioned before. Hashverosh doesn't need to know this is what we call waj'araz. It's daras. I don't need this headache of running the whole kingdom. Let someone else do it for me. You will be second in command. It happened with Paro and Yosef. Same thing. Atati al beti ve'al picha yishak kol ami. Paro tells Yosef, you'll be in charge. You run everything. Rak hakiseh gdal mimeka. But I have the throne. You don't have the throne. Yosef was fine with that. Yosef was perfectly fine with being number two, running everything, and even making Paro feel that he makes all the decisions. But Haman was not. Haman wanted to be in total control. And Mordechai knew that if you look at history, how many tyrants were deposed by people who says like we're going to make a revolution, but they replaced one evil with another evil, right? The czars in Russia replaced by the communist revolution. Ended up with Stalin, who executed tens of millions of people, people say 60 million people, right? It always happened. So Mordechai knew Haman at a certain point is going to take over from Ahasuerus. When he becomes number one, there's no way you can stop him. He's in control. What will be his first target when he becomes king? The Jews. Mordechai already knew that. And you see that when Haman comes to ask to destroy the Jews, he has a very well prepared speech along all the lines of anti-Semitism. There's one nation, they are together, but they are scattered all over your kingdom. Maybe they have a secret network. They're trying to undermine you. They don't follow your rules. Haman is ready to target them. And it's also proven by historians, sociologists, anthropologists, that whenever there is a conflict, whenever you steer a conflict towards within the country, and there is what we call ethnic cleansing, either by execution, by murder, or by expulsion, like the Jews from Spain, like what happened in Rwanda, in Kosovo, and in other places, the target are first aliens, first foreigners, people who came from outside the country, and usually the accusation is you are draining the financial resources of our country. This is also what happened in Germany before the Holocaust. One of the main arguments of the Nazis against the Jews was that the inflation and the economic crisis in Germany following the World War I and the Versailles agreements was the fault of the Jews. They are draining the German economy, and so on. So Mordechai knew once Haman takes over, the Jews will be the target, and no one will be able to stop him. So what did he do? He said, I'm going to pull him, I'm going to drag him into the open, expose his true colors, his true personality, and then fight with him. So it was a deliberate effort for Mordechai. It was dangerous. It's a dangerous game. But he says, this is better to have the known enemy now than let him go into the government and become the emperor and do whatever he wants. And indeed he does that. And I think that's why the Megillah says in chapter 4, "U'Mordechai yada et kol asher na'asa," meaning he had a premonition. He knew this is what is going to happen, and he's ready right away when he hears that. Vayikra Mordechai begadav v'yilbash sak va'efer. He dresses in sackcloth. He behaves like a mourner. He doesn't wait, and he goes straight to Esther to deliver her the message. I want you to go to the king. So Mordechai was relying on Esther's placement within the royal court to help him. So what does he do? He comes to Esther and he says, להגיד לה ולצוות עליה, לבוא אל המלך להתחנן לו ולבקש מלפניו על עמה. So he issues that as a command, as an order. This is what you need to do. It's not discussing it with her. It's not negotiating with her. He says, this is what you have to do. You have to go to the king, beg him, and plead with him for your nation. Right? What does Esther say? I'm sorry, I cannot do that. Why? Because I was not summoned to the king for over 30 days, and I have to wait for him to call me. And everybody knows, it says, Kol avdei hamelech v'amidinot hamelech yode'im. There is a rule. Remember, again, we see the same concept of the Persians are sticklers with the law. They have to follow the letter of the law. The law says that anyone who comes into the inner chamber of the king without invitation will be put to death. So she tells Mordechai, I'll do as you wish, but I have to wait for the king to call me. Because if I'll go and I'll breach those boundaries without being invited, he'll kill me and you gain nothing. Right? Mordechai is infuriated. He says, Al tedami benafshech limalet bet hamelech mikol haYehudim. He says, what I feel is that you are being indifferent, you don't care about the Jews, and you think that you will find refuge at the royal palace. He says, if you keep quiet, you and your family will perish. Now, the interesting thing about that, when he says your family will perish, it includes him, because he is our uncle. Right? So he means I will perish as well. It's like, someone that I know used to tell his son or his grandson in Al Abuk. It's like you're cursing your own family, right? What are you doing? What he says to Esther, he really is including himself. He says, if this is how you behave, that means that I failed in my education. I wasn't able to instill in you the importance of helping other people. So Esther says, no, you misunderstand me. It's not about that. It's just that the way you suggested, it's not going to work. This is the shift in the Megillah. Up until this point, Esther is submissive. Mordechai says, Esther does. Mordechai says, don't be too visible. Keep a low profile. Fine. Now, she tells Mordechai, Lech kenos et kol haYehudim הנמצאים בשושן ותשומו עליי ואל תאכלו ואל תשתו 3 ימים לילה. He says, I'll give you orders. Go gather all the Jews and fast for 3 days, and I'll do what I have to do. Meaning, don't tell me what to do. She's not following his advice. She will do it her own way. And she also, like Mordechai, is going to play a very dangerous game. And what is that game? This game is creating a love triangle. But not a real one, but a fake one. She's going to create a game where Ahashverosh thinks that Haman has an affair with Esther, and Haman thinks that Esther is taking a liking to him. And with that, she will eventually pit the two men against each other. But it's dangerous because at any point, Ahashverosh could make a step and destroy her. Right? So I'll just look at the first step of what she does. It says, "Vayi bayom hashelishi, vatilbash Esther malchut." On the third day, the translation here reads, Esther put on royal apparel. She put on royal garments, and she went to see the king. Wrong. It's wrong translation. The Hebrew says, "Vayi bayom hashelishi, vatilbash Esther malchut." She dressed with royalty. It's not about the garments. She was always dressed with royalty because she's the queen. But it's about the attitude. Up until now, she was this like I would say, a quiet, timid girl. But now she becomes the queen. And indeed, when she walks into the inner chambers where she's not supposed to be, the pasuk says, "Vayi kirot hamelech et Esther hamalka omedet b'chatzer." He looked at this girl. Up until now, he knows her Esther. Even though she's the queen, she didn't behave like it. But all of a sudden, there's a new person here who, the personality, the gaze, the way she looks at him. She's the queen. Nas'ahir ba'inav. Well, I like it. This is someone new. Now he's intrigued by it. So he has the the ability to override the death penalty by giving her his golden staff. Right. So he gives her the golden staff. She comes over. And what does she do? She throws him completely off base. Because, first of all, he's surprised to see her. Number one. He sits there, who knows if he's drunk or, hangover, is oozing, after a night of partying. And she comes in, so she surprises him. First, that he has a visitor. Second, that she's not the person that he is familiar with. Third, he starts thinking, he realizes, wait, she risked her life to come see me. So what she's going to ask, there's something extremely important that she's going to ask. And that's why he says, Malach Esther malka ma bakashatech ad hatzi malchut v'inaten lach, half my empire. Which is nice. It's not all of his empire, but he says at least we're going to be equal partners. It's not bad, right? So she says, Vatomer Esther al hamelech tov, if you really want to please me, yavo hamelech veHaman hayom el hamishtar she'asiti lo. I want you and Haman to come to the feast, to the party that I'm throwing for you. Right? So the king says, quickly bring Haman. He wants to go over because he wants to know what's happening. He's completely in shock. What? She risked her life to come and talk to him, to ask for a joint meeting with Haman. Who is this Haman? Why all of a sudden Esther is interested in him? So that's where she plants the seed of doubt. Now she creates this destructive circle. One person will be destroyed at the end. But as the way she started it, could be Haman, could be Esther, could be Hashverosh, we don't know. But that was her approach. So if she doesn't do what Mordechai says, she uses her power as being able to manipulate those men around her. Baruch Adonai,